Timothy Leary, grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. Is that where you grew up?
I spent my first 18 years in a very small town in western Massachusetts.
College? Where?
I went to about 7 colleges. Actually, I was expelled from several of them. I went to West Point for 2 years. I went to a Jesuit school. I got my master's degree from Washington State University in Pullman.
Right.
And then my doctorate in psychology at UC Berkeley.
Berkeley. Expelled from where? You say several. Expelled for what reason, may I ask?
Well, I was expelled from the University of Alabama for spending the night in the girls' dormitory. Now, you're going to ruin my reputation.
No, go ahead, Timothy. I want to know. No.
You're going to go for the real inside story.
No, you say expelled. Go ahead, like you several. But what expelled? What else? For what other reasons? You said one for girls?
I was expelled from a Jesuit school called Holy Cross College for gambling, playing poker, blackjack late at night during a religious retreat with a son of an Italian mafia guy from New York. That got me. They graduated me right there.
You've been outspoken ever since you were a kid, then, really. Timothy Leary's always been his own person, own mind, own spoken person.
Yes, I lived a very, well, I would say a lonely childhood. It was a very isolated little town, and I didn't see much of the sophisticated world, so I lived as a child an extraordinary life. I read books all the time, and I dreamed dreams of doing heroic things to help the human race, and my model, my idol, was a philosopher named Socrates, and I based my entire life on Socrates.
So that's where Timothy Leary...
He's the guy that caused all the trouble for me. His motto was, he said that the aim of human life, Kippy, was to know thyself. Now this was very subversive, because the very idea of someone saying, you don't have a self, you're a serf, you're a slave, he was inventing the idea of individuality, and that you could do something about your life. Now, as soon as I studied the books about Socrates, I realized that this is a dangerous profession, because you're teaching people to question authority. I realized that this job, which I was going to undertake, the corrupting of the minds of youth, it paid poorly. It could get you in serious difficulty with the authorities, and in the case of Socrates, it got him hemlocked. But I've enjoyed this profession, and in the last 70 years in America, it's been a wonderful time.
It has?
For a dissident philosopher, because so much change has happened that
Do you think the kids today know thyself? There's a lot of them they don't have identifications of their own self. They don't know who they are. They just follow the leaders.
Ain't it the truth? It's been that way.
Am I right?
It's been that way for most human beings throughout most human history.
Right.
At certain times in human history, culture, when everything's favorable, you have what's called a renaissance. Now, they had one in Athens, because Athens was protected by geography from the big empires.
Right.
There's another great renaissance around Venice and in northern Italy. And a renaissance preaches the basic religion of humanism.
Right.
Renaissance period, we had one in the 60s here, and the key to it was humanism. He said, the aim of individual life is to know yourself and to treat each other as human beings. And this flies in direct opposition to every fundamentalist religion, to every political party where you're supposed to work for God or for the state. So, and what happens in a renaissance, we rediscover the wonderful potential of the inner human being.
Right.
It becomes, the clothes tend to come off because there's more human contact, and beauty and erotic activity tends to be more active at this period. So in the 60s we had a classic renaissance, which ended in 1980 when the repression of Reagan and Bush came out. We all know that's modern history.
Right.
I'm a great follower of a man named Marshall McLuhan, who wrote those wonderful books about communication, and he said that if you want to change a culture, if you want to change yourself, if you want to change religion, change the medium, the mode of communication. And he said that Gutenberg created Protestantism when he had the mass assemble book that everybody could read. And now the new form of communication is electronic. So I'm a fanatic about electronics. My brain...
Electronic brain you're into. Aren't you in electronic brains experiments right now you're into?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, maybe we should... I don't give lectures anymore, and
Okay.
the next
You don't?
the next two Monday nights at Easy TV.
EZT on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Santa Monica Boulevard, right?
I know it.
La
Yes, off
Cienega.
of La Cienega, right.
And it's in Santa Monica Boulevard between La Cienega and San Vicente.
That's in West Hollywood.
We're having a wonderful time because we're each Monday night we invite geniuses, wizards in this new field of electronic multimedia, and we're learning how to produce trance states by using computer-generated images and electronic patterns. Matter of fact, why don't we put on this little tape now to show you?
You have a tape right now. You
And
brought.
this is a commercial, like a commercial you see on TV, and we're at the message from the product.
Right.
The message from the sponsor is, learn how to use your eyeballs and operate your brain. So let's run the tape.
Use your eyeballs and.
Yeah, learn
I
how
like
to
that.
use your
Use your
eyeballs.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's see it. Okay. What is that about?
See, the eye, that's going to, in a dark room, this could, indeed, when we do it in a dark room at Easy TV, it produces a mild trance state. And then my voice comes over it, and I'm saying, the eyes are the windows of your brain. Who controls your eyes, controls and programs your brain.
Right.
And all eyes love to be illuminated. Eyes love dazzle. Eyes love diamonds, glitter. Eyes today and brains love electrons. Who controls your screen, controls your brain. We're developing methods for the individual, the kid in the third world, or the kid in the inner city school learns how to control what's on her screen. Operate your brain. Program your own brain. Use the methods of modern advertising, trailers and commercials to put your own message on your brain.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll be programmed by the wizards who control commercials on your television set.
Is this relaxing when people see this?
Well, we're trying to jumble you and scramble your brain. See, you're basically, my brain, most brains love to be jumbled with electrons.
Do they really?
Oh, sure. It's been known.
Stimulate them? Is that stimulation?
There's been a rumor for centuries that some guy, tough male macho, dazzle the diamond in some young girl's eyes.
Right.
She'll wash his socks forever because diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Absolutely.
Wrong. Diamonds give power to those people who know how to use them. And now electrons. So we're teaching people, we're developing new computer programs, running off CD-ROM, running off Nintendos.
Where did you get this idea from?
It's all out there. It's all out there.
It is out there?
Yeah.
But
these are not my ideas.
What sort of persons attract to Timothy Leary? What sort of person attracts to intelligent people, I know. People with minds and they want to be their own persons. But what sort of persons?
Well, people, I can tell you people who do not like me are those people who are deeply committed to a religious orthodoxy or to a fundamentalist cause.
Right.
Open-minded people like me. People that, troublemakers, bohemians, artists.
Would you consider yourself a bohemian?
Well, it's one phrase. I'm a hippie, I'm a beatnik, I'm a bohemian. I'm basically an outsider. I'm a dissenting philosopher, and there's always a good market for a good audience because basically a lot of people out there want to be turned on and want to learn how to operate their brains.